It is September as I'm filming this, and I thought that I should talk a little bit about being an empty nester because this has been a topic for this month, and actually from the end of summer, which is when most kids would then leave home. And it is a question about how parents feel about this, right? And now, to be really honest, I have been an empty nester now for more than 10 years. So my kids left home when they were 18. It was also a September, and they left to go to study in different countries. So this has been, in the beginning, it has of course been very challenging, and I'm quite sure that all of you can recognize this. But I thought that I would do this video to let you know 3 things that you shouldn't do, something that I have learned along in my journey. Now, the first thing on the not to do list is something that I learned many years later into my empty nester journey, which is how I call it, because everything keeps changing, everything keeps transforming. Was that in the beginning what I did was that I suppressed my feelings. So I didn't show how painful it actually was for me to let go of my kids. And one of the things that I learned later on was that it might seem very like a martyrous kind of a thing to do, like a selfless thing to do, is not to show how much this actually affects you, but all that it does is that it suppresses all the emotions and all the feelings and doesn't give room for it to expand. Now, I don't mean that you should wallow in your sadness, but acknowledge it. Acknowledge the fact that you actually feel the pain. And there is absolutely nothing wrong in acknowledging that. And in fact, the more you acknowledge, the more you'll realize that it loses its bite. And that's actually something that really happened to me, is when I started to accept that even after so many years of being an empty nester, it still hurts. It hurts not having my children at home. And it is okay. And that's what I want to tell you, that don't suppress your feelings, just acknowledge them and tell yourself that it is okay to feel this way. And you have a right to feel that way. You do. It just means that you have a big heart and that your heart has the capacity to love. And that's a wonderful thing. That's really a wonderful thing. So instead of trying to suppress the feelings and put on a happy face and a stiff upper lip, don't do that. Just acknowledge that, yes, I do feel sad. Yes, it does hurt. And yes, it does mean that I'm human. It does mean that I'm a parent, I'm a mom, I'm a dad. It does mean that I love. And this love is so beautiful, so don't try to suppress that feeling. So that is something that I thought that I should tell you about, one of the things that you should not do. So the second tip that I want to give you of something that you should not do is don't nag your kids. And I know I am guilty of doing this, and I'm also learning. And what I mean by that, especially in the beginning when they have first left home, you really want to keep tabs, right? You want to really know, are they okay? Are they doing all right? Is everything all right with them? I'm just concerned. I'm just a concerned parent. No, stop doing that. Because think about it, it's actually not coming from a serious concern about them. It is coming from a sense of insecurity within us. This is something I found out many years later, right? It didn't happen right away. But then I figured out that a better way to do this is to support them on their journey. They know that they can reach out whenever they want to. And every time I feel this urge of trying to find out, is everything okay? Is everything okay? Sit with it. Don't send that message immediately. Don't pick up the phone immediately. Just give yourself a minute's grace to really ask yourself, where is this coming from? Is it coming from a genuine concern about their well-being? Because if it is, then of course make a call, because you don't know, right? But if it is coming from a place that's going to only make you feel better, then hold on. The reason is that the same way that your kids are trying, or the same way that you are trying to let go of your kids are trying to find their footing. And we have to give them that opportunity to do that. And the only way that we can do it is by holding our horses. So not really jumping in, not really bothering them in a way, right? I'm quite sure that's not how they would see it, but I think that's a good step to know that, hey, wait a minute, let me just take a step back, find out, why do I have this need? Where is this coming from? And is this something that's really required right now? Or can I wait until the evening or in the night, and before I go to bed, just send them good night, I love you, right? And that already means that I'm in contact, but I'm not really checking on them, because I'm letting them also take their first steps. And the third thing that I really have to say that you should not do is neglect your own well-being and your own health. And I know it's very, very easy to do that, especially in the beginning phases when you're just an empty nester and you think and you are not really taking care of yourself. That's a very bad place to be in. And I'll tell you why. When I left, when my parents became an empty nester, my first concern was actually, is my mother okay? And she wasn't, because she was in a very bad state. She didn't take care of herself. She neglected my brother. She just was so taken up by her own grief, and that caused me as a child a lot of pain. And now think about the effect that's going to have on your children, right? So if you don't take care of yourself and your kids are really concerned about you because you're their parent, then you're causing them more harm than good. And it's not just for their satisfaction, it's also to take care of yourself. If you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot take care of other people. This is very important. So make sure that you're sleeping well, that you're drinking lots of water, that you're exercising, doing all the things that you need in order for your own well-being. And this is very, very important. This is probably the most important point of something that you should not do as an empty nester, is to neglect yourself. That being said, I hope that this has been helpful, and that as a new empty nester, or even as a veteran one, you have got some value out of this. And if you want, I have put together a free survival guide PDF. I'm going to leave the link in the description box below, and you can go ahead to my website and download it. And there are some other tips and tricks that I have mentioned in that guide, and I hope that this is going to give you a value, and that you really, really acknowledge and honor your very, very big heart as a parent, and all the courage that you have to let your children go. And I wish you all the very best on your journey. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. By the way, if you're curious to see how the bouquet turned out, or the arrangement that I was working on while I was talking to you, this is it. Let me just go around and show that to you. So this is what I was working on while I was talking to you. Voila.